So the biggest drawback with recording a voiceover after you've done a thing is trying to exactly remember what the devil went on and what kind of went wrong. So this is the build of the primary hull. Fiddly bit were the little recessed compartments that go on either side of the main hull. They no, I was finding this fiddly. There's later things were much worse. But again, it's that thing, just not having been into kits like this for a while. It took a bit of trial and error to get those up and running. Once I came to put them inside the hull, there's a little sort of tooth mark on each side for them, and that's me trying to get it to go in and stay in place. They're not a comfortable fit. They're quite a loose fit. The little recess barely catches the mark, and they don't completely marry up to the sides. What I found. Now later on, I did find a couple of elements in the kit that seemed to be labelled as left and right, and ended up being opposite to what they were labelled for. It could have been the case with these. I don't think it was, because they are quite specifically shaped. I just think it's not a great groove for them. So after a nice mug of coffee and I calmed down, I reapproached it, and third time was a charm. They sort of went in and held in place. Now, hobby enthusiasts, don't be cross. I know I'm building this with super glue and I should be using polystyrene cement. Blah 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 blah. I'm a gamer. Super glue's more use to me. I have ordered polystyrene cement since I've got a couple more kits to do. So the side sections for, I keep going to call it the primary hull. It's not the Enterprise. For the bridge, the fore section. The next sort of stumble block was this back plate. Initially went in grand. It was all happy days. Oh yeah, snap in and the side bits and all the rest of it. Everyone was kind of all good at this point. Rattle along quite happily. The world being my oyster. It wasn't until I came to join the bottom part of the forehull that I ran into another bit of a problem. And now I've kind of caught up with myself and what I'm doing, even though this thing's running at 4 speed. So yeah, all pops in quite happily, glue it up. And I'd already dry fitted this, so I was kind of happy enough. I knew what I was doing, much to my regret, unfortunately, because I practically had to take a chisel to get it apart. So pops in, everyone's going grand, and then one side of it just refuses to connect at all. Pushed, squeezed, nothing. It just wouldn't catch. The grooves on the back of it weren't quite marrying up with the grooves on the bottom part of the hull. And you can see here, I think it does come across where one side locks in quite happily, and then this side just will not play ball. Yeah, tweak. I'm not actually breaking anything off here. I'm literally trying to get them just to marry up. And then I realise where it's catching, and I snip off part of the runner in the back. And it's still, I think I had an issue where it still wasn't completely happy. It wasn't falling down back into the bottom, and I ended up taking everything apart. Cleaning the gap a bit more, taking more of the tooth off. And then when I went back to it, if I remember correctly, everything worked according to plan. Yeah. I don't think it was a case of built in the wrong order. I followed their plans quite religiously. But at the end of the day, got there. This was quite snug. Once that back plate was in, that took a bit of a dunt to get it to lock into place. And then we're on to some of the paneling detailing, the galleys, and there's the bridge and the nose cone. There was a little tiny bit of kind of a protrusion on the back of the bridge that just needed cleared off again. And it pops down, and the nose. We do watch because the nose kind of fits on both ways, and it's only when you look quite closely at the instructions really that there is an up and a down to it. So yeah, I think I got that wrong a couple of times. I was working away. These pieces weren't too bad. Again, just because of the tight fit with the detail in the hull, did take a good press to get them to go in home. The only other bit where I kind of went, well, yeah, these little sort of, can't remember what they are, radar dish type things. I'm sure there's a proper name for them. When I got those clipped off, I was being a bit overzealous, and there was a piece on one that I thought was flash that wasn't. It was actually a lug for gluing it into the kit. Well, these are the galleys. Yeah, the galleys. This is one bit. Now you can see I've laid them down on the instructions there as to the numbers left and right, and I lift it up to pop it in, and no, it won't. And then when I look at the pictures, the actual pictures of the parts are the right way around, and hey presto, left was right and right was actually left. And there's those little radar dish lugs that I'm talking about. And one of them was quite clearly a piece. On the other one, whether it was just unluckily moulded, it looked like it was just a bit of flash, so I'd snipped it off, and that ended up being a slight bit of a dog's dinner to get it to hold, because there wasn't anything really for it to connect to. Oh yeah, and then these are just there's a couple of details of like antenna or something on the underside. Do have to watch, it was again another tight fit job for some of these. On a couple of the parts in the kit, the hole that these bits are supposed to plug into, either just not big enough, or the lug that was going in slightly too thick or slightly too wide. You test fit it and you quickly spot it, of course, and that was easily enough addressed. But yeah, takes shape quite nicely and fairly quickly, and feels very solid. There's that little radar dish that came off again, you see, because I was silly. And there we have it. That's her. First section done. No idea how long it took. This is about 8 minutes, and I've pruned off, I'm sure, 10 or 15 minutes of swearing.